As discussed in the previous segment, there are a few people more hawkish than John Bolton. In fact, only one comes to mind, and that's Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Just this year, Mr. Netanyahu has continued his now 8-year-old mission to start a war with Iran. He's bombed Syria, bombed Iraq, bombed Lebanon. And, of course, he's also continued to wreak havoc on the Palestinian territories. And just today, Mr. Netanyahu dropped another bomb, telling voters that if they vote for him, he will take over a huge swath of the West Bank and the land grab that promises to be extremely controversial. In fact, here's a little map I could show you. See that map right there? Shows you just how big a deal this is. It's the West Bank. If you notice, it's by far the largest of the two Palestinian territories. And in orange, right there, you'll see the part of the West Bank that Mr. Netanyahu is pledging to annex. It comes out to about a third of the existing territory, so that makes this a very important story, which is why we're playing it as number 2 tonight on Rick's list. Former Pentagon official Michael Maloof is joining us now. By the way, I kind of want to read to you what they're saying. They're writing and saying, even in Israel today, they're saying this means the dismantling of the peace process and essentially pronouncing there will be no future Palestine. Are they right?
Yes. Of course, this is West Bank was supposed to be part of the the Palestinian state.
What's going on here?
Well, he's basically wanting to annex the settlements that he's allowed to go into the West Bank over time. So and he's also trying to appeal to the more extreme right-wing element because of as a build-up to elections. Now, I think he made that comment before he learned about John Bolton being fired.
Really?
I think
You think
so.
John Bolton somehow is...
Oh, I think he's very much involved in all this.
No, because, okay, let me help you here. Bolton and Netanyahu are very tight.
They're very tight.
Okay.
And that is what probably helped bring his, allow for his come down, because every time
You mean Bolton?
Bolton.
Really?
Every time Trump would say, I want to have a negotiation with the Iranians, for example, he'd then go back to Netanyahu and conspire to basically box in the president.
So wait a minute. You're saying that you have reason to believe that Mr. Bolton was going behind Mr. Trump's back and working his fidelity more to Mr. Netanyahu than his own...
He went into that office with his own agenda. As a national security advisor, he did something that no other national security advisor has ever done, is bring his own foreign policy agenda to the table.
So you're saying he was like Bibi, he was Bibi's man in the White House?
Yeah, exactly right.
My God. If that is true, I could imagine
and
that...
look at the timing.
Right.
Look at the timing of the firing. 7 days before the Bibi election, re-election.
Right.
I think Trump is also sending a message to Netanyahu.
But Trump is a Netanyahu guy too.
Yeah,
You're just saying not to that extent?
but not to the point that he's going to about ready to go to war. Bolton almost had him within 10 minutes of bombing Iran, if you'll recall, very recently, after the shoot-down.
You know, you made a point about this being a political move by him. Is this analogous, dare I say, to Trump's wall? Like Trump thought, I can get elected if I come across very anti-Mexican, which he did, fairly put, I think. He's basically using, instead of Mexicans as his political shill, he's using the Palestinians. Will that work?
No, because this has been going on forever and ever. Trump's approach has always been, first of all, be bombastic in order to establish leverage, and then negotiate somewhere. We've seen it time and again with respect to North Korea. If left up to Bolton, Bolton would have invaded. He would have bombed them. And he wants nothing to do with the Palestinians, just as he wants nothing to do. Last year at a MEK terrorist group in Albania, it was Bolton who announced that he would see them in Tehran next year.
But let's put this in political light, right? Okay. I'm the president, and I think this guy is going to beat me. I think I can be defeated right now because of my scandalous corruption deals that everybody knows about. But the one way I can stay in power is if I can convince the Israeli people I'm the only one who's going to protect you against all those bad guys coming to kill you.
Well,
are the Israeli voters that gullible?
Well, I think in one sense, he's trying to appear to be tough because he has been accused of being weak in the past. Yeah. However, we saw where he was restrained toward Hezbollah, and that was a signal because Hezbollah has had enough. And if he had launched against Lebanon, it would have been all over.
Okay, I'm glad you went there. Final question: what happens if if and when he does this? What will be the reaction in the Middle East?
Oh, it'll be an explosion.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you will have, everybody will unite against him. I mean, and he doesn't have the U.S. backing him to the point that he was given the assurance that he would have. And I think that if you're going to go out and instigate trouble like this, this is problematic.
This weekend I was reading a book by Ehud Barak where he warns that we should not overplay our U.S. Speaking from the Israeli perspective, the Israelis should not overplay their U.S. backing. In other words, don't put the U.S. in a bad situation like this. Is he doing that?
Yeah, he has with the help of Bolton. That's why Trump got rid of Bolton, and I think he's sending a message at the same time to Netanyahu.
Is that what you think will end up happening in this case?
Yes, I think he's calling for restraint by Netanyahu.
Fantastic stuff. Great conversation as usual. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
So you haven't heard that we're the ones covering the stories that you won't see covered anywhere else? In Venezuela, Kazakhstan. Let's go to Hong Kong. And the media reaction to that has been crickets. How about the way we cover those stories? What the hell does that mean? Wally. That's the key word in this case, uprising. Can you believe that? Watch it. This is the right thing for members of the media to do, to actually pick sides. Look, if you like what you see, subscribe.